Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and in this video we're going to take a look at Uldaman, Legacy of Tyr, a Dragonflight dungeon that is on the alpha. It's actually already received a few changes, including one that I think is very, very good. Starting off, you just kind of have this Trog area, a lot of mobs that do kind of minor little things, chain lightnings. This Brutal Slam is actually really annoying that you want to move out of. But yeah, stops on just all of the mobs here is really nice. Like if you have AoE stuns, AoE interrupt type effects, those kind of things will go a long way towards making them a little bit less annoying. And you have these Geomancers here that will cast at you, so you need to hit them with the old interrupt if you want them to cooperate and actually come into the pull. The Vicious Basilisks here will cast a Spiked Carapace that I think is a little Thorns effect on them. So you want to interrupt that if you can. I don't know if if it triggers off of spells or anything. I think just physical stuff. And then you get to this little area. So the first boss is actually just behind me, behind and to the right now, to the right where those basilisks are coming from. You don't have to go there right away, but you do need to go there eventually to progress the dungeon. It's not like an optional boss or anything. I, in this run, do forget to do that and just go and instantly grab this pack, but then I'm reminded helpfully by my group, and so we U-turn after this. But you could go to the first boss as early as before this, one pull before this, or you could wait for cooldowns to be available depending on how big of a first pull you wanted to do. I think doing a big first pull in line of sighting will be a way to do this in M+. It's worth noting this is quite a long dungeon. There are 5 total bosses, so quite a lot to chew through in this one. First boss here is the Lost Dwarves. It's inspired by, I think it's inspired by the Lost Vikings old Blizzard arcade game. The important thing here, Eric the Swift kind of charges around places and then dagger throws, so ideally I should pull the other two onto it. Balog has some frontals. It has a tank frontal and this heavy arrow frontal as well, so both of those you're going to want to make sure you don't have people in front of. Olaf jumps to friendly dwarfs and then puts a bulwark up, but it's interruptible. And then there's this longboat raid that they'll cast once they reach 100 energy. Also, anytime a dwarf reaches 10% health, they will stay on the longboat for the rest of the fight, and they are effectively defeated, but they speed up the longboat's swirly casts, so making it more annoying. Once you get all 3 of the dwarfs below 10%, that encounter is over, and the dwarfs are now on your side, and you need to do that after you kill the next boss. You need the dwarfs on your side to actually open up the rest of the dungeon, so that's why you gotta do that fight here. Here again, we have some more of those basilisks and rock throwers. You just take care of those. As you can see me inspecting my talents, we'll skip ahead a little bit here. You get to some Geomancers and Berserkers that actually do a solid amount of tank damage. You can see that bludgeon cast that the Berserkers did was synchronized and did quite a lot of damage to me, and that Brutal Slam that you're going to want to move out of or else get stunned. The mobs also apply an enrage to themselves there, as you can see, so Soothe effect's pretty nice. Bromac, second boss here, so you can see even though it's 5 bosses, there's not too much actual trash between these bosses, which is nice at least. Bromac is actually a pretty deadly customer. Summons these waves of 4 adds that'll be some combination of ambushers that run in naturally and Geomancers that need to be kicked if you want them to come in, and they are casting stone spikes and chain lightnings while you are not bringing them in. So that's important to do. Quaking Totem, also very important to kill here. So Quaking Totem deals increasing damage to the group. You got to kill this thing nice and quick. The boss also is casting Bloodlust here, which is going to affect itself and the adds. But as soon as you kill the Quaking Totem, it stuns the boss and does a huge, I think it does damage taken increase for a while and stops all that nonsense. So you get to kill the boss nice and easy. Thundering Slam you're going to want to move out of. And then it just keeps repeating, spawning the adds. Again, some combination of ambushers and Geomancers. I don't know if that's preset or something. This wave was 1 Geomancer, the previous wave was 3, so not sure what determines that. You kill off Bromac, and then the Lost Dwarves come and help you open up the door. There are these crumbling cave rocks scattered throughout the dungeon. There are 3 of them. They can either be killed for free if you have 25 Dragon Isles mining or higher on somebody in your group. So if you do, let's see, yeah, if you have that, there, let me get that window open again to show you. You just interact with it if you have mining and click on this button, 25 skill in Dragon Isles mining, and you just can destroy the rock instantly. Otherwise, you can fight it, but it has a lot of health, and if that health scales with M+, that's probably not going to be worthwhile. But when you die in this dungeon, you just release at the start of the dungeon. The only checkpoint system is killing those rocks. If you kill those rocks, you can then use a mole machine that's at the start of the dungeon to get to each of them. When this dungeon first came out, there was only one of those checkpoints towards the end of the dungeon, and now there's 3, but they all have those nasty high health rocks if you don't have somebody with mining in your group. So for high keys, you're going to want somebody with mining in your group to be able to update your checkpoint, I believe. I think that would be pretty important here. So after this, you get some of these Custodians. They didn't seem to do all that much except for put a little bit of a nasty dot on the old tank. Yeah, just taking these things out. Hail of Stone cast. Let's go back and we can show what that looks like. You can see these Weavers coming from the side here, casting that Hail of Stone, doing damage to the whole party, but stoppable, not interruptible, but stoppable with something like Incapacitating Roar. Killing off all these mobs. We go into, again, straight into the next boss here. So it's like boss, 2 trash pulls, boss, 2 trash pulls. Even though it's a 5-boss dungeon, it's actually probably not going to be as long as people are kind of worried about. This boss summons these 3 orbs. You need to pull it through all 3 of these orbs to stun it, and you don't want to run through the orbs yourself and get stunned. I think you can use your own stun effects to contribute to the count of 3 stuns, and if you don't stun it, things get very bad for you. So yeah, you wanna drag the boss through the 3 stuns. Other than that, it just knocks everybody back and kind of doesn't do too much else. Just kind of dies as you drag it through the orbs that people drop. I wonder, maybe in high keys you'll just drop them all right on top of each other so you can very quickly stun the boss. Not 100% sure what the play is going to be for that. As you can see, a little bit fiddly to actually get it to cooperate. Kind of need to wait for it to cast sometimes to get it in there. But there's that 3rd boss. After this, we get some more Weavers and Custodians. Weavers have the kick. You just kind of run through, grab these mobs. A little bit scary to fight a bunch of these all at once, but not too bad. Again, if you have stops for the Hail of Stone, the Custodians do a cleave, which does seem like something you want to aim not at the rest of the group, if you're the tank. Although I'm not actually 100% sure I'm seeing that do damage to other people, so I'll need to investigate that one further. Again, another fairly big pull is possible here. You just grab a bunch of mobs. Line of sight is going to be pretty big here because these are pretty short, narrow corridors, so you can use that to your advantage. Although it will be kind of annoying with Storming or Sanguine for sure in this area. So you grab those, or you get those mobs taken care of. And then we are getting pretty close to Emberon already. One more pack here with this big ol' runic protector. And then we've got some spiders as well. You can see a lot of raid damage coming out here, a lot of tank damage actually from on pull here. This is definitely a pull that I wish I'd gone into with some more cooldowns already up. Curse of Stone is being cast here, and I think, yeah, you can see on Johnny, it stacked up, slowing him down, and then it stunned him at the end. So that's going to be something that if you have a Curse Dispel, you're going to want to dispel. Otherwise, you're going to want to interrupt Curse of Stone. We get here to, this is where the second big rock is over to the side that you can see, along with some bats and some more spiders that you'll want to take care of. These don't seem to do too much of anything. They do this Sonic Burst cast, which I'm not sure if that's a frontal or what. Not sure exactly how that functions. And some spiders that are just putting a little dot on me. And again, another cave rock here that this thing has an absolute boatload of health, but you can kill it if you want to update your checkpoint again. And then we get to Emberon. So Emberon has some different... So there's not too much that goes on at the start of the fight. He's going to activate some of the keepers. Does this frontal that you aims at the tank, you just aim away. You can see the activated keepers start shooting out fireballs that you're just going to want to dodge. And then at 66 and 33% health, Emberon goes ahead and runs into the middle of the room, makes a big danger zone in the middle of the room, and a bunch of the keepers will then activate, and you will need to DPS them down in order to kill them off without and make it out of this intermission phase. This phase is definitely the most dangerous part here because it's pulsing group-wide damage during this phase as well. So you're going to want to be careful and not get killed. But once you've killed off enough of the keepers, I think it's three of them per intermission, you get to just fight the boss again. Not too much else going on during this. Again, frontal that you're going to want to not aim at people. Puts a little AoE on somebody as well so you don't stack during that. Once you get to 33% health, you get another intermission. And yeah, you just want to dodge the swirling, rotating beams. Go ahead and kill the 3 Vault Keepers that are activated, and the boss goes down. After this, we get another little set of Weavers and a Golem. Don't really remember what the Golem did. Thunderous Clap. Let's see what that does. Ooh, a lot of party damage it looks like. I wonder if you can line that. That'll be something to test in a future run. Yeah, more Golems, more Weavers, more Custodians. And the third and final rock of the dungeon, if you want to update your checkpoint before the last boss, is over here. Blessing of Tyr, you're going to want to move mobs out of this because it's a damage reduction to the mobs that are inside it. And it's also a dot. Like if you're standing in the Blessing of Tyr, you take damage. So you want to move out of that as well on that Earthen Guardian pull. Again, you can try and cleave down the rock with other mobs, but it doesn't seem to take too much damage when you do this. The thing has a lot of health, so it's not really easy to just cleave it down for free. So you can, again, yeah, kill off that rock, get the last one. And here is almost the end of the dungeon now. You get to kill off a couple of these. So this double golem pull, actually, you can watch here, is going to be pretty scary for the group because the 2 golems are both going to do their thunderous claps around the same time here. That Curse of Stone going uninterrupted as well is going to lead to Johnny getting stunned, as you can see there, and then do that AoE swirly around him. So that's how that, if you get stunned in this dungeon, that's what's happening, is Curse of Stone is going uninterrupted and undispelled. Then once you walk through this door, it starts the RP. So you're going to want to send somebody ahead to start this RP, presumably during a previous trash pull, because it'll only stun the one person who runs in here. Summons a bunch of infinite Dragonflight enemies, including ones you can like tag these and they don't get in combat right away. I don't know if that'll make it all the way to live, but you can see some of them like have my Moonfire on them and are just already running ahead. Yeah, these don't do too much. They do this annoying slow, this Time Blade slow on you. They cast Hasten to give themselves a little bit of a hasty buff. But yeah, you kill these things off. Kill a big set of infinite mobs and their whelps. The whelps don't do too much of anything. And then once you've killed these off, you get to the final boss here, Chrono Lord Dios. This is a fairly simple end boss as far as they come. Does do quite a bit of group-wide damage, though, during its intermission phases. So a few things to look out for on this boss. Tank Frontal, you're going to want to dodge. Eternity Orbs here make these swirlies. You want to remember where the first Eternity Orbs dropped, because you'll want to go there later, but you don't want to stand in them now. If you stand in them now, you take damage and you lose haste. And then also the boss casts Wing Buffet and knocks everybody back, so you're going to want to make sure you're not getting knocked back into a Void Zone either. But yeah, we're just kind of slowly moving around, making sure to not hit people with the Sand Breath Tank Frontal, and also making sure that there's space for melee and for ranged to DPS the boss. Once Rewind Time Flow happens, you actually want to stand in these zones, because now they are a haste buff. But look at the party frames here. Everybody's taking a lot of damage during this phase as well, so this is a good time for defensives, for rally and stuff. And you can see the oldest Void Zones are the last ones to go away, so you want to actually go to wherever the oldest Void Zone spawned during that phase in order to have the haste for the whole time. And then, yeah, the boss just keeps repeating those abilities until you kill it and you finish the dungeon. So, yeah, 5 bosses, definitely a lot of bosses, although it's worth noting, not too much trash. The 4th to 5th boss trash area, I would say, is the longest one. Other than that, there's not too much going on in here. And, yeah, the bosses actually did seem pretty good, so I'm fairly high on this dungeon. The mining thing to activate those rocks, I feel like the rocks could have, like, a third as much health as they do, and it would still be fine, but definitely if they make it with that much health, you are going to want a miner in your group for those rocks. Let me just show you what happens. So here's what happens if you die in this dungeon. You release at the start, and then this is the mole machine that you get to pick which of the spots you want to take the mole machine to if you've killed the rocks, but only if you've killed the rocks. Anyways, that was a quick look at Uldaman Legacy of Tyr. Hope you enjoyed this little look at the dungeon. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.